Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and of course, continuing on with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles review marathon. Now, we've come up to another animated Ninja Turtles film, but it's not just an animated film of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It is, in fact, a crossover animated film with the Ninja Turtles, with Batman. Yes, I am, of course, reviewing Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But I'm not doing this alone. I've got with me one of my good friends, Anchorman.
Hello there, I'm Batman.
Yes. And Anchorman, because, he happens to be a Ninja Turtles fan as well. How would you describe yourself as a Ninja Turtles fan?
Well, I always watched the show, the 2012 show when I was younger, and I always collected the toys and played some games and watched the movies, but the 2012 Ninja Turtle show holds a special place in my heart. But this version of Turtles, definitely, I really like as well.
Yeah. All right. So there's that, and yeah, once again, he's joining me reviewing this film, so I'll go ahead and read the description / the story. Batman, Batgirl, and Robin forge an alliance with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to fight against the Turtles' sworn enemy, the Shredder, who has teamed up with Ra's al Ghul and the League of Assassins. So, the first things I have to say about Batman vs. Superman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is that, nobody asked for this or had this in mind, and if anybody thought of this, it'd be interesting if, seeing the Ninja Turtles and Batman come together, who knows if this is going to happen, and it did. Warner Brothers Animation and Nickelodeon, obviously, collaborating and bringing us this awesome crossover animated film with the Cape Crusader himself and the 4 Ninja Turtles. It's amazing. Did you, what about you, Anchorman? Because, did you think, at the time, we would ever see something like this? Or were you, with those? Probably, the same goes for me, that this would not happen.
Well, I've read a comic that came out before this movie came out. It was kind of similar to this movie. So I thought it could be inevitable we could get a crossover, but not an animated movie. I was actually shocked when they announced it. I thought the animation looked cool. So I was really excited when this movie came out. And there's also multiple crossovers with the Turtles and Batman.
Yeah, and, not to mention, because, obviously, with this to exist, and when it was announced, pretty much, because, this was mind-blowing, don't you think?
Yes.
It was. And the way that the Turtles look in this, the animation style, we all know the animation style to these certain DC animated films, and how the Turtles look, pretty good. And I like that how the Turtles look in this, they look different. Usually, sometimes the Turtles would look identical. The only difference is, well, they'd have different colored masks. But there were times that their facial expressions, stuff like that, their facial features would be different. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. But in this, I was just gonna say, because in this, a big difference to how each of the Turtles look with their faces and their heads, I think, especially Donatello, the shape of his head, for one thing, and Raphael as well, so. Yeah. And was there something you were going to say?
Not sure, but, I thought these versions of the Turtles looked unique. They look more cartoony, and they do look modern. I definitely got used to those designs of the Turtles, for sure.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. any like material of Ninja Turtles, like, you know, they have to be different, and, you know, how the turtles would look. So, and the same goes for Batman, you know, and all the other superheroes. But anyways, so yeah. So in Gotham City, and, you know, we come to the story. You know, in Gotham City, the Foot Clan happens to be there, as well as the Ninja Turtles. Apparently, in the film, it is established that New York City does exist in the world with Gotham City. And, you know, like, here's the thing. Sometimes in these superhero movies, and I'm talking about, say, the live-action versions, usually, like, films like, say, Batman or Superman, like, the Batman films would sometimes be set in Chicago. The best example is Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, and the Superman films. Good example, the Christopher Reeve Superman films. Metropolis was in New York City. New York City was supposed to be Metropolis. So in this, you know, New York exists with Gotham, etc. And if you can help out, Anchorman, because, you know, basically the Foot Clan, they're stealing some equipment to do some kind of something with the ooze and stuff like that. If you know, you can explain.
Yeah, this scene is kind of similar to the comic book. Instead, it's just some random scientist who explains like how the turtles snuck into the lab and saved them from the foot soldiers. But in this, it's Batgirl who explains what happened.
Yeah, and basically, and, you know, and if you know this, like, you know, the Foot Clan, well, basically, the Foot Clan, they've teamed up with Ra's al Ghul and his goons. They're creating some, like, formula or whatever that has to do with the ooze, and I think, yeah, the Lazarus Pit, and some of that, purplish, like, bright purplish, like, goo and such, you know, to, like, create this, like, this like, potion or whatever that will turn the entire population of Gotham into, like, mutant creatures and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay, so that's basically what it is. And so, yeah, and, like, it, you know, it makes sense for, like, if any of Batman's villains is going to team up with Shredder, and knowing Shredder, well, who better than Ra's al Ghul? He's a perfect, you know, perfect Batman villain to team up with Shredder, and not to mention...
Because they lead ninja clans.
What's that now?
Because they lead ninja clans.
Exactly. There you go. Yeah, and you know, Batman's encounter with the Shredder, and, you know, even at one point, because Batman, he loses to Shredder.
He does.
Yeah, and with that, but also, we see that the Penguin is there, and I think, yeah, because he's been hired by Ra's al Ghul, if I'm correct, and, you know, he's planning to break into Wayne Enterprises to steal, I think it's called the Sky Seed. Do you remember that? Like,
not really, but I just remember mainly, like, just Penguin versus the Turtles, when Penguin mistakes the Turtles as Batman.
Yeah. But when of course the Turtles reveal to Penguin and his goons that, you know, they're turtles, and, you know, the Turtles are unaware of who this Batman guy is. And, you know, I have to mention, because, yeah, like, the Turtles with their personalities, and especially Raphael, because Raphael sometimes having a temper, and I guess, you know, sometimes being kind of a jerk, and, yeah, it's pretty funny, because, like, you know, Raphael, because he pushes Penguin's goons, and, you know, they, like...
kills them.
Yeah, almost kills them, but they luckily, like, land in a garbage dump, and, you know, even Leonardo asks Raphael, like, did you even knew there was a garbage truck? And, you know, like, Raphael's like, maybe. So, Yeah, and by the way, like let's talk about the voice talents in this because like start with the Ninja Turtles. Erica Buza voices Leonardo, Darren Criss voices Raphael, Kyle Mooney voices Michelangelo, Baron Vaughn, if I'm saying the last name right, voices Donatello, and Troy Baker voices Batman and Joker. And as we all know, Troy Baker is like literally the only voice actor to voice both Batman and Joker. And
probably my second favorite Batman voice actor.
Yeah, and because I just feel like mentioning this. I don't know, like probably because like Troy Baker like doing an impression of Kevin Conroy's Batman and Mark Hamill's Joker. I think it's obvious, because it almost his Batman and Joker voices almost sound identical to Kevin and Mark's voices.
They kind of do. When I first saw this movie, I thought it almost sounded like Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, and what about like did Joker almost sound like Mark Hamill to you?
Yeah, definitely. Just like a younger version of them, basically.
Yeah, there you go. That makes sense right there. And no hard feelings to Troy Baker. He was good, but it would have been cool if Troy Baker had not voiced Batman and Joker in this film. Then hey, it would have been cool if Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill were attached to this. That would have been really good.
Troy Baker's mainly in like the Lego Batman games and some animated movies.
Yeah. I mean, Kevin Conroy, he had voiced Batman a lot. So
yeah.
It's obvious that there were times where Kevin wasn't available for every single animation piece / material of Batman. So, you would have, say, Troy Baker step in. And yeah. I know the same goes for Mark Hamill, because, not only voicing Joker for so many Batman pieces / materials, but he was doing other voice work as well, so that makes sense. And more on the voice talents, Robin being voiced by Ben Garax. I don't think I'm saying his last name right. Batgirl being voiced by Rachel Bloom. The Penguin being voiced by Tom Kenny, in which Tom Kenny has voiced the Penguin before, most notably in the Batman animated series in the early 2000s.
That show's fun.
Oh yeah, and had an interesting style. But anyways, and Alfred being voiced by Brian George. He's done a lot of voice work, and I remember him in The Big Bang Theory as Raj's dad. And also, as I mentioned, Troy Baker voicing Mr. Freeze, Tom Kenny, Penguin. Also, Ra's al Ghul being voiced by Kaz and Var. I hope I got that full name right. Carlos Lazarick, if I'm saying the last name right, he voices Bane. And John DiMaggio voicing Mr. Freeze. And Keith Ferguson voicing Two-Face and a character named Baxter Stockman. But anyways, and also, Tara Strong voicing Harley Quinn / Poison Ivy, and also Jim Meskimen voicing Commissioner Gordon and Scarecrow, and Shredder being voiced by Andrew Kashino. If I remember correctly, Baxter Stockman is the Fly guy, isn't he?
Yes, he's been turned into a fly in the 80s show and the 2012 show.
That's right. Yeah, I almost forgot. So, Keith Ferguson, as I said, he voices Two-Face / Harvey Dent and voices Baxter Stockman, the Fly guy that, is like, I don't think like Baxter Stockman, even he establishes that he's not really a bad guy or anything like that. He's just forced to, help out Shredder and so on. But yeah, like Baxter Stockman.
Every version.
What's that now?
He's used as a pawn in every version.
There you go. Yeah, a pawn. So Baxter helping out Shredder and Ra's al Ghul with what they're planning to do at Gotham City, and then, later, the world, of course. So, with Batman taking on Shredder and the Turtles taking on Penguin, we already established that, then at one point, the Turtles and Batman come face to face, and, there's a fight, and, Batman, like, he doesn't really, like, attack them brutally or anything like that. Even Leonardo figures this out. Like, he wanted to know them, and, the detective way, basically. And there's, like, a funny moment where Michelangelo, he crashes into a pizza place, and, like, he's telling the people, like, like, get out of here, there's a crazy guy in a bat suit, but they're really running away from Michelangelo.
Yes.
Yeah, and Michelangelo being the goof off, because he has his funny moments, of course, and, like, throughout the film, because Michelangelo going on about Batman and how cool he is, and his equipment, and the Batmobile, all that stuff, and, like, him wanting to touch some things in the Batcave and in the Batmobile, it's pretty funny. Even because the Turtles, they're trying to figure out on this Batman guy, and, Batman, Robin, and Batgirl, they're trying to figure out on the Turtles, and, they slowly but surely figure out, especially for the Turtles, that Batman may not be working with Shredder / teaming up with him. Even at one point, they discover and find the Batcave, and Robin confronting the Turtles, and Batman and Batgirl coming in, and, confronting the Turtles, and the Turtles telling Batman that they're not his enemy, and they thought that he was working with Shredder, but it turns out that Batman wasn't, of course. Robin earlier in the film, because he was at the Foot Clan and Ra's al Ghul's, hideout, the hideout for Ra's al Ghul and Shredder, on what they were doing, and of course, Robin giving them the information, and thus, they start to team up. Even at one point, Ra's al Ghul and Shredder breaking into Arkham Asylum. And by the way, speaking of Robin, like, he's the only one, like, this bugs me. He mispronounces Ra's al Ghul's name. He doesn't say it right. Do you remember that?
Yeah, they misinterpret his name a lot in most.
Yeah, only Robin does. The rest of the characters, especially Batman, they say his name right. It's only Robin in this that he completely says his name wrong.
Yeah. Can I just say something else, if you don't mind?
Go ahead.
We also get a few Easter eggs in the Batcave. We see Bob Kane's drawing of Batman, what he thought Batman would look like. Like, I don't know if you saw that, but we also get, like, other costumes of Batman throughout the years. I thought that was a nice touch.
Yeah, and did you notice that, Alfred, he handed Batman, like, I think a cup of coffee, and the cup is Superman's logo.
Yeah, they also showed a map of the various iconic DC locations.
Like, assuming, like, one of them being Metropolis.
Yes, and LexCorp, Star Labs.
Of course, yeah. So you heard Anchorman because, talking about the Easter eggs in this, even I spotted some of those Easter eggs, but, you mentioned, like, something about, like, a drawing that Bob Kane did. I don't think I noticed that.
It was a costume, though. I meant to say, like, a costume. It was, like, based off of one of Bob Kane's drawings before Bill Finger changed it to the Batman we know today.
Right. Okay. Yeah, but the costumes, obviously, they were noticeable. And as I said, the Superman cup, and the map. I don't think I paid attention to the map, but okay, so there's that. What's that now?
It was a quick scene, like, you can barely notice it.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, you barely have any time to notice these Easter eggs. But continuing on, like, Ra's al Ghul and Shredder, they're the only ones that break into Arkham Asylum, and, they easily, take down the security guards, and, because in a brutal way, obviously, knowing Shredder and Ra's al Ghul, like, I think, yeah, like Ra's al Ghul chopping one of the security guards' heads off, and Shredder killing the security guards, again, in a brutal way, and up to when they get to, the cells of, the Batman's other enemies that appear. And, and by the way, I'd like to point out, because one notable Batman villain that was, absent, and he didn't appear in this. I don't know why, but well, I mean, it works fine without him appearing, but still, and that being Riddler.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
In this movie, I forgot.
He wasn't in this film.
That's weird.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have killed to have Riddler in this, but again, it turned out fine without Riddler, so it's one of those things. So
There's a lot of Batman villains.
What's that now?
There's a lot of Batman villains. They probably picked what they feel was best for the story.
True. I mean, they could have easily, had Riddler. They could have easily had, I don't know. I'm thinking of Killer Croc and Clayface, but the villains that they have for this, which being Joker, Harley Quinn, Bane, Scarecrow, Mr. Freeze, yeah, they work good, and what they have plans for those villains, and even like say a funny moment with Harley Quinn, because knowing Harley Quinn, she has funny moments, and she's getting Shredder's attention for him to come over, like thinking that she's gonna say something to him, but all she wanted for him to come over was to look in the reflection of his mask, and I think checking her face and how she looks, that's all. And like Shredder after that, because he's like, I hate Gotham, and that's when up to when Ra's al Ghul and Shredder, they go up to basically like a vault, and in that vault is the Joker. Yeah, because Joker gets like the high, like top cell in Arkham Asylum, And what happens is, Ra's al Ghul and Shredder, they release Joker and all the other villains that are in Arkham Asylum, and not to mention Joker was in on this as well. Like, he basically, like, threw up, like, a piece of paper, like, instructions, I want to say, and, yeah, with all of them being released from their cells, like Harley Quinn, like basically, yeah, that stuff from that company TCRI. Is that correct?
Yes.
Like I'm saying it right, TCRI.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, TCRI, and they have that stuff, like the ooze and so on, and basically like Harley Quinn, like putting that in like the pipes, and basically like the ooze comes out of the shower sprinklers, and the villains are bathed in the ooze, and they transform into mutant animals. It's insane, but it's awesome at the same time. It's
I thought they did that just to show what each villain would look like if they got mutated. That's what I felt the writers were doing.
Yeah, I mean, you probably have a good point, and probably that's what they did, because for say Harley Quinn, like turned into like a mutant dog, Mr. Freeze, makes perfect sense. Like he turns into like more mutant, like a polar bear, and gosh, his eyes, because like he has those eyes, goggle eyes, and they transform as well, and like those are his eyes as a polar bear. Bane, like, do you remember like what animal does Bane turn into? I forget.
I think it's like a cheetah or something.
Yeah, something like probably something of a cheetah. Poison Ivy, well, she turns into like a plant, basically,
Of course.
Yeah, of course. And Scarecrow makes sense too. He turns into a crow, literally. For Two-Face, like it's like a two-headed cat, basically. Like
terrifying.
Yeah, terrifying. Like one face of a cat, normal, the other scary. Well, this, just like, say, how Two-Face, his Two-Face. And Joker, well, we don't see what Joker turns into. All we see is just, like, like, his eyes and his mouth, and, like, his mouth, like, changing, altering. We see that he has, like, sharp teeth and such, but you just wonder, what is he? Like, probably something very scary. And of course, but, we find out a little bit later because, well, Batman, Robin, Batgirl, and the Turtles, they make their way to Arkham Asylum, and, they do split up because, like, some of the Turtles, like, they go with Batman, Robin, and Batgirl. Leo is with Batman. With Robin, it's Michelangelo and Raphael and Donatello with Batgirl. Kind of fitting because, hey, both Batgirl and Donatello, they're wearing purple. So, and yeah, the same kind of goes for, well, both for Batman, Leo, they're wearing blue. Robin, no, like, nothing, I don't think, yeah, Robin doesn't really have anything orange on him, but both Raphael and Robin, they're wearing red, so.
They're both very angry, and that's what makes them similar.
Yeah, you have a good point, yeah. And, of course, wouldn't you know it, each of the villains encountering those that have separated. Like Batman, Leo, they encounter the Scarecrow. Robin, Raphael, and Michelangelo, they first encounter Mr. Freeze. And, still, more funny moments from Michelangelo and how he compliments on some of these villains, like how he complimented on Penguin, when Penguin fired from his umbrella. And even when, say, Penguin, he had a sword duel with Leonardo because he has that knife in his umbrella. And when, like, say, coming up to Mr. Freeze, Michelangelo complimenting on Mr. Freeze, a polar bear with, like, a freeze gun. It's pretty funny. Then they later encounter, still, Robin, Michael, and Raph, they encounter Poison Ivy. It's pretty funny because Poison Ivy, she can't reach them, because she's literally a plant attached to the ground.
What she was meant to be.
Exactly, yeah. And Batgirl and Donatello, they encounter Bane. And gosh, because here's another thing, like, the fighting in this film is really good, like, but especially at times, like, kind of brutal, because you see blood and teeth coming out. What's that now?
I was actually surprised since Ninja Turtles is more kid-friendly, and they
actually
show blood, and I was like, well, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, well, sometimes the Ninja Turtles have gone dark, so,
Just the comics, mainly.
Yeah, exactly. And, well, kind of, like in the first Ninja Turtles film in 1990, so,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so, like I was saying, like, the fighting in this movie, can sometimes be brutal. I mean, all there is just blood and, like, a character losing a tooth. That's it. And at one point, Scarecrow, like, wouldn't you know it, Scarecrow using his fear gas on Leonardo, and even Batman assuring Leonardo that, with the fear gas, like, it affects him, and like making this like illusion that's not real and stuff like that. And basically, like, Leonardo is seeing his brothers be, getting attacked by Scarecrow and being like killed by Scarecrow's like vicious crows, and like, they get killed and like turned to dust and stuff like that. Oh my gosh. And of course, what's that?
Show, like, the scene was terrifying because, I don't know, the way they designed the turtles, like if they were dead by Scarecrow, like that scene was actually like, ooh.
I know.
So
yeah, you're not wrong. And, again, Batman assuring Leo and telling him to snap out of it, like it's not real. And of course, yeah, Leo, he does defeat Scarecrow, and thus, Scarecrow getting defeated. And yeah, once they defeated the villains that they encounter, leading up to when they come face to face with Harley Quinn, Two-Face, because, apparently Two-Face, he has two hostages with sacks over their heads. And then we see the Joker. We finally get the reveal of what type of mutant animal he is. And basically, he... Go ahead.
He's a snake.
Yeah, like, snake, type of cobra, like, yeah. Obviously, Joker would be the one that looks more scary looking, and yeah, what better way for him to look scary but, like, say, a vicious snake? So, and...
I thought they could have done something different, like, not just a snake. I was honestly taken aback when they did, like, a snake.
Uh-huh.
I thought it'd be, like, a cat or something.
Well, Two-Face already, Two-Face already got that, so, you know.
Yeah. Or maybe like a...
Maybe like a what?
He does, like, laughing fish.
I don't know. Maybe, you know, they'd have to make him look vicious if they went with that. So, yeah, and by the way, because, like, one moment where, like, Harley Quinn, because, you know, how much she loves Joker and, you know, confronting and making him feel better, because one moment where they kind of, like rub their noses, and then at one point they go for tongue, and Michelangelo had a point, because, like, seeing that, he was like, you know, ooh, that's gross and weird. Like, Michelangelo spoke for everybody, the audience, don't you think?
I thought of it as, like, a sexual innuendo, maybe.
Probably so, yeah. And it turns out that, like, the two hostages with sacks over their heads, that was a trap, and basically Raphael and I think Donatello, yeah, like, they get taserized, you know, electrocuted and so on, and basically because Joker has one sample of the TCRI, like the ooze basically, but also combined with the stuff that made Joker what he is, you know, the toxic chemicals and so on, like that the light purplish stuff, yeah, that's what it is. Like, combined with that with the ooze, and basically, yeah, Joker, as I said, he has one sample of it and uses it on Batman, and Batman becomes a mutant-like bat, and as Michelangelo, I think, yeah, Michelangelo, like, establishes, Batman is a man-bat, you know, however he says it, and, pretty intense, like, you know, they're trying to, you know, turn Batman back into what he is because, like, Batgirl has samples that can, you know, cure those that were turned into mutant animals, but also Batman as, you know, that as a mutant bat, like throwing Two-Face and Mr. Freeze, like, out the window, stuff like that, and even, like, at one point he, like, pushes Mr. Freeze to the ground, like, literally. And of course, you know, in the end, you know, the Turtles, Robin, and Batgirl, they cure Batman and the villains in Arkham Asylum. They're, of course, defeated.
What do you think if Batgirl and Robin got turned into mutants? What would they turn into?
No idea. Like, that would be up to the writers.
They only did Batman being a man-bat because they want to show what it would be like if Batman became a man-bat.
Exactly, because Batman himself would be obvious. And after that, we then cut to the Gotham City docks, basically, and Penguin delivering what Shredder and Ra's al Ghul need. The Sky Seed, I forget what it was called, but, you know, basically to help Ra's al Ghul and Shredder, what they're making, you know, to lift up, like the ooze and the stuff that, like, the gas that, you know, to unleash on Gotham City and, you know, turning the civilians into mutant animals, basically. And Penguin, expecting to get paid, and, you know, Shredder and Ra's al Ghul, they don't pay him. Even, like, you know, Penguin ordering his goons to attack, but Penguin's goons are, you know, were killed. Literally, and by the Foot Clan, and, you know, Penguin, of course, being spared, and, you know, he goes on his merry way. So that's it for Penguin. Even, like, what's that now?
Shredder's not playing around.
No, and neither is Ra's al Ghul. And even, like, Baxter Stockman making a comment on, you know, what Penguin said, because, yeah, Baxter never getting paid, you know, when helping out Shredder, none of that. So we'll come to you, Anchorman, because you wanted to say something about the animation style, you know.
Yeah. So, like, I really like the design of Batgirl in this because it, I don't know, it just looks unique. and like it looks like the comic books are from her now, and like I don't know. And I also like the Batman. Like I was surprised they chose like gray and blue for his design because we usually see like gray and black. But it's a nice classic way of showing Batman in a modern setting of Gotham.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And Robin looks good too.
Yeah, Robin looks good too. You have a good point because yeah, I mean, you know, blue and like light blue and gray has been another one of what a part of Batman's suits, not just like, you know, like sometimes gray, black, or just being completely black. And you know, in this, like his suit being light gray and blue, it works, you know, and I think it works, and if it works for you too. Yeah. So there's that. And thus, you know, we come back to the Batcave. And by the way, because there are a couple of funny moments between Michelangelo and Alfred, not to mention earlier when the Turtles, they ordered pizza, and Alfred holding all the pizza boxes, and Alfred making a comment that, you know, he could have cooked something, but, you know, all they want is pizza. And, you know, Alfred makes
He's very professional.
What's that?
Alfred's very professional. He wants to make a good meal, but then the Turtles are like, no, we want pizza.
And I was about to say, and Alfred commenting, you know, saying, teenagers. He's not wrong. That's all he has to say. And even when when Michelangelo, afterwards, like Michelangelo, like on his skateboard, like crashing into Alfred and like causes a mess, and even say Alfred is holding his mask, like if he were to hold his ear, and like Alfred telling Michelangelo that, you know, you will not get your skateboard back, blah, blah, blah. And, yeah, and so, again, like, funny moments between Alfred and Michelangelo, but also, by the way, because of course, this film acknowledges Splinter, and of course, you know, the Turtles, they've traveled to Gotham, and Splinter, well, he's still in New York City, and not to mention, like, Batman, you know, with his encounter with Shredder, like, he'd never seen anything like what Shredder has done, you know, with Shredder's fighting skills, you know, stuff like that. And even, like, say, Leonardo giving, like, Batman a little backstory about, like, say, like, the ninjas and, like, this one specific fight skill that can defeat somebody. And, like, you know, the only two ninjas that know this so well are Shredder and Splinter, if you remember this, Anchorman.
I do. I wish we could have gotten a scene with Splinter. That flashback was creative with how it looked different from the other animation styles of this.
Yeah, and, you know, we still got a little bit of Splinter. Like, we did get an appearance, but, like, he wasn't there in person, but with, like, the backstory that we get told by Leonardo.
Yeah, I did like how we got a little bit of a flashback. I like the animation style. It was different. But I wish we could have gotten Splinter.
Yeah, so there's that. And Batman, because he's injured from what the heck happened in Arkham Asylum, literally. And another funny moment from Michelangelo, because, you know, he freaks out because, you know, finding out that Bruce Wayne is Batman. Raphael has a point because, you know, because they knew this by now, and when they got into the Batcave, and they obviously knew that Batcave was underneath Bruce Wayne's mansion, and Bruce Wayne telling the Turtles that they need to stay behind. This is something that both him, Robin, and Batgirl have to do, but Raphael puts his foot to the ground and confronts Batman that, you know, they're family, and, you know, family makes mistakes, stuff like that, you know. He gives him that kind of talk. And, of course, Batman... What's that?
It's a good lesson.
Exactly. And Batman, he can't deny that, and he comes to good terms with them. And by the way, because one other thing, like, you know, earlier in the film, because, you know, the Turtles, they had pizza, even Batgirl and Robin had pizza, but Batman did not. So, you know...
not his thing.
What's that now?
It's not his thing.
No, and he even said something about that of pizza. And thus, the Turtles, Batman, they once again get together and go take on Shredder and Ra's al Ghul, and we of course get the appearance of the Ninja Turtles transportation, the vehicle that they drive, because even like I think Leonardo said like they didn't walk by foot to Gotham. They of course had transportation, so they have that vehicle and
party wagon.
What's that?
It's a party wagon.
The party wagon, right? It's pretty funny because Michelangelo, he calls dibs on riding in the Batmobile with Batman, and he wants to press these buttons. And as I talked about, because of things that he wants to touch, and he wants to press all the buttons in the Batmobile, and Batman, he's telling him, don't press anything, and
I think anyone push those buttons.
Yeah, and Robin and Batgirl, they ride in the party van with the Turtles, well, even like say we do get a bit of a car chase because some of the members of the Foot Clan and those that are with Ra's al Ghul's goons, that is, some of them are turned into mutant animals, like one's an elephant, one's a bird.
A dinosaur.
Yeah, one's a dinosaur. Like, that's awesome. Like, we have one turned into a dinosaur. They're chasing them. Even, like, say, Batgirl, she rides in her Bat bike, and Michelangelo's in a motorcycle as well. And they have those, like, cures, transforming them back into their normal selves. The one that was turned into an elephant didn't survive, didn't make it. Even, like, Batgirl's told him, duck, and he doesn't duck, and he crashes, and an explosion happens, and Batgirl's saying, you should have ducked. So that's unfortunate for that one goon who was an elephant that did not make it. So,
did they kill him technically?
I guess so. But the others, they're turned back into their normal selves. From being a dinosaur. It was pretty funny because the one that's turned into what's that?
Did the main Batman villains get turned back in
I think so. Well, yeah, of course. I don't see why not. And of course, being put back into their cells in Arkham Asylum, of course. I was gonna say the one that was a dinosaur because he's a dinosaur, and when he transformed, like, he's butt naked and he's covering himself. That's pretty funny.
Yes.
Yeah, and then leading up to when, Ra's al Ghul and Shredder, and with the help of Baxter Stockman, they're this close to, having, what they're planning to use upon Gotham City to be lifting in the air, only when Batman, the Turtles, Batgirl, and Robin, they break in. And this is kind of nice that, the heroes and villains, they swap each, the superheroes and villains. You know what I'm talking about. The Turtles, they take on Ra's al Ghul. Batman has another rematch on Shredder. And
that was a fun fight.
It was. And as I said, a nice change of pace for heroes and villains, fighting against each other.
It was just nice seeing Batman finally win.
Yeah, he lost to Shredder at first, but then he won. He defeated Shredder. Well, I mean, not just Batman, but everybody else, they defeated Shredder. Even say at one point, Robin confronting Baxter Stockman, and Baxter confronting Robin, assuring him that, he's not really a bad guy. He's just forced to work with them. And he at one point pukes and he passes out, and Robin commenting, saying, "You disappoint me." And so,
yes.
Ra's al Ghul and the Turtles fighting, and Ra's al Ghul at one point breaks Donatello's arm. Like, that's brutal. But then at one point, the Turtles, they grab a hold of, the ooze that's being lifted up in the air and, trying to shut it off. But, at one point, Michelangelo does something by hitting it and damaging it. And by the way, because during, that vehicle chase, Batman gave Michelangelo the okay to press all the buttons, unleashing rockets, stuff like that. And, as Batman says to Michelangelo, nice job. And I think, yeah, Robin a bit disappointed because he can see what's going on, and him saying that he wishes that he can push those buttons. Well, next time, Robin, next time. And back to what I was saying, because yeah, Michelangelo, like damaging the device that it's floating in the air again with the ooze and so on, and they succeed, it explodes, and it's pretty funny because a couple other things, like sometimes like the turtles, like their heads going down in their shells, or even say like at one point Bane tried to crush Donatello's shell, but that hurts Bane's knee. And also there were these there are these blimps in Gotham City. Like, anything to say on the blimps,
I've always noticed them in the animated series, but I feel like that's always been a part of the world of Gotham.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I almost forgot about...
I'd also like to say, Bane trying to crack Donatello's back, it's like Bane trying to crack Batman's back.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because Bane commented saying that, he was the one that, that crushed Batman's back, stuff like that. So yeah, I almost forgot about that. Like the blimps, they were in the animated series, yeah. And Michelangelo at the beginning of the film commenting and questioning, why Gotham City has blimps, and when they fall because the device it explodes, they land on one of the blimps, and Michelangelo saying, so that's why Gotham has those, however he said it, saying something funny, of course. And Leonardo, he defeats Ra's al Ghul by using that technique to, that ninja technique, like around,
he kicks
like...
him in the nuts.
Yeah, well, first kicking him in the nuts, but also, like doing, like, his fingers, like, around Ra's al Ghul's body, and that's what defeats Ra's al Ghul.
That was so epic.
Yeah, it was, yeah. And for once, it's not Batman defeating Ra's al Ghul, it's a Ninja Turtle. So, and when it comes to, like, the fighting of Batman and Shredder, a rematch, Batman is succeeding, but even, like, say, Shredder, he was, like, ripping off parts of Batman's suit, like his utility belt and so on, and kind of injuring him at one point, but Batman, he doesn't stop, and he defeats Shredder, even at one point breaking off, the faceplate that he has. And we see Shredder's face and his scars. And the Ninja Turtles, Batgirl, Robin coming in to take on Shredder. And, yeah.
Batman also says Cowabunga.
Yes, Batman says Cowabunga. Thanks for bringing that up. And, yeah, even Shredder confused, like, Cowabunga? And, the device that, that had the ooze, like, it crashes, and it causes, like, Shredder to kind of, like, fly into the air, basically, and he, at one point, lands in that purple, gooey stuff, and, yeah, and, well, you think he's defeated right there, because he landed in, that, well, basically, like, they're toxic chemicals, yeah, and it causes that factory, that warehouse that they're in, to blow up. They rescue, the remaining goons from Ra's al Ghul and the Foot Clan, and we see Robin dragging Baxter, like, he's still unconscious, like, I don't know, passed out.
Turn him back.
What's that?
They should have turned him back from being a fly to human.
Yeah, they could have. In fact, we never see what happens. Like, okay, we never see what happens to the villains in Arkham Asylum, nor do we see what happens with the remaining goons from Shredder, Ra's al Ghul, and Baxter Stockman. We never do. We just assume it's one of those things. I mean, we just assume that they're fine, probably being taken to jail, and if Baxter is spared, because again, Baxter establishes that he is being forced to work with Shredder. That's all. And the epilogue, all of our main heroes back at the Batcave, moments between Alfred and Michelangelo, and, they have a bit of a talk, and, the Ninja Turtles, about to head back home to New York, and, Splinter would be upset about their disappearance, knowing Splinter, of course, and Batman telling oh yeah, even like, say, Donatello wanting to follow Batgirl, like stay in touch with Batgirl. Remember that part?
Yes, that was cute.
Yeah, it was, like, I guess their own, like, Facebook page, I guess you could say. And
Batgirl X Donatello.
What's that?
Batgirl X Donatello.
Yeah, exactly. Like, when did that happen? Yeah. But anyways, and, again, like, right before they leave, because Batman telling them, you can't go. It's pizza time. And Batman has pizzas for them, and, it was nice because...
he finally tries one.
Yeah, that, but also Batman gave Robin a slice of pizza. And by the way, more on Robin, because I almost forgot to talk about this. Robin in this, clearly, it's not Robin, which being Dick Grayson. It's supposed to be, obviously, and I assume, the new Robin and the young Robin, like the young boy that becomes Robin. Like, you know what I'm talking about, right?
It's Damian Wayne.
What's that now?
It's Damian Wayne.
Yeah, like Bruce Wayne's adoptive son, correct?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So
I know he's actually related.
Yes, exactly. So it's that Robin in this. And so, like, even say, he calls Batman at one point, father, because, well, when Batman first became that mutant bat, so, and yeah, so Batman giving his son a slice of pizza, and like you said, yeah, Batman eating a slice of pizza, and even Alfred, he joins in eating a slice of pizza, but, in the fashion way with a fork and knife. So,
Luigi's Pizza.
What's that?
It's the pizza place they're eating at is called Luigi's Pizza.
Ah, okay, Luigi's Pizza, right. Oh, and by the way, because even at one point Michelangelo gave his skateboard to Alfred, so, like...
It's just what I always wanted.
Yeah, and like, imagine just seeing Alfred on a skateboard, like, that's something. And so it ends right there with, the shot of, like, the Batcave, them at the table and, like, bats coming in. And it's really cool because during the credits, like custom, like, artwork of, like, comic books, of, like, Batman and the Ninja Turtles.
I really like that part. That part was very intriguing to watch.
Yeah. Even though they don't exist, it's part of the end credits. It's one of those. And the end credits scene... Oh boy, because, well, you think Shredder was defeated after falling in the toxic chemical waste and the fact that that warehouse literally exploded and burned to the ground, but nope, he survived and it affected him, and like the first shot, we see a hand pop out, and it's very similar to, well, that one shot in Tim Burton's Batman where Jack Napier's hand, like, rises out of, like, the sewer, I want to say, like, the water, and we see his hand that's white. Well, it's with Shredder. We see him with a white hand with, I think, like, green fingernails, and we see the back of him, and we start to hear him laugh, and he became, like, another Joker as well. Like, that was insane, don't you think?
It was. Imagine if we got another story where we see the Joker Shredder. That'd be very interesting.
I know. That would be awesome. Like, clearly, that leaves off with, a possibility of a sequel, Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Again, like, I tell you, because, like, what a great piece of, DC animation we got, an epic, animated crossover with, two, well-known heroes of the comics, Batman and the Ninja Turtles. Like, this was really good. I enjoyed this. Again, nobody knew that this would ever exist until, as of now. And, it's nice to see that, it turned out to be a really good success. And is there any last things you want to say on Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Anchorman?
It's a really good movie, and definitely a more memorable one for me. And I definitely like to look back on a movie like this. And yeah, it's fun to see Batman and Turtles together.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well said right there. And how we rate this, we'll start with you, Anchorman. How do you rate this?
Uh, Maybe a 9 out of 10. There were some story issues I had. I wish they explained more, but other than that, this movie was very fun.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to agree with you on that too. Yeah, I mean, yeah, even like what we were talking about in our review. Yeah, it's obvious like there are a few like issues in the story, but overall, it still was awesome. And for me, yeah, I think I'm with you too, Anchorman. I'm giving this yeah, the fingers. 9 out of 10 stars. Both of us, 9 out of 10 stars for Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And what about you guys? What did you think of Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles itself? And what did you think of me and Anchorman's review of the film? Leave comments and give this video a like, as always. And thank you very much, Anchorman, for joining me for reviewing this.
You're welcome, and thank you for having me on.
Yep, always. So, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. We hope you guys enjoyed our review of Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. More review videos coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and we'll see you guys in the next video/review. And of course, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles review marathon is still continuing. One more Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles film to review, and it's another animated film. And this one comes straight from Netflix. Stay tuned for that. Say goodbye, Anchorman.
Farewell.
He says that for me. Take care, and peace out.
Turtle power.